Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day you're watching me, and whatever time of day you will be watching the replay. You are welcome to Between the Lines podcast, where we talk about adolescence, parenting, and everything in between. Today is our anniversary episode, which means we have been streaming for the past 1 year. Between the Lines podcast is a year today. Yes, I think the 12th of July 2025, we had the very first episode of Between the Lines podcast. So we will not be having any guests today. It's just going to be me talking about the journey for the past 1 year. So you're welcome, 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 welcome. Feel at home, make yourself comfortable as I take you through the journey of 1 year. So I have titled this episode Reflections, looking back, forward. Reflections, looking back, moving forward. It's just me talking about Between the Lines podcast, how it started, why it started, for whom it started. All right, so thank you. Let me say thank you to our listeners so far. Thank you to everybody who has at one point or the other tuned in, shared our flyer, shared our post, encouraged us, commented, liked. Those are encouragement. So honestly, very big thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course to our guests, because this podcast would not have been possible without our guests, the adolescents and the adults. I want to say very, very, very big thank you. So without wasting time, let's get straight into why we are here. All right. So I've written down the things I'm going to talk about so I'll not forget. Why I started this podcast, what inspired this podcast. I am an adolescent counselor and I am also a teacher. And I work with teenagers almost every day. Like I see them, I work with them almost every day. And one thing is common, especially with those that, give me issues as it were. I realized that many of the challenges they face is from the home. Many, many, many of the challenges they face is from the home. So I felt if the home is sorted, I think 90% of their lives will be sorted. So I was like, okay, I can only personally reach out to a few parents, but if I start something, I can reach out to as many parents as I can get to. So that day, I think that was in June last year, I was home with one of my teenagers, Praise Ometala. We actually brainstormed this idea together. So shout out to Praise Ometala. So we're at home June last year, and I was like, okay, what can I do, to make impact? That was the end goal actually, to make impact in my field, as an adolescent counselor and as a teacher. Okay, I can start a podcast. I mean, that's not hard to start, yeah. I can start a podcast, and she was like, okay, that can work, that can work. But I need guests because I'm not going to be the one doing the talking. I'm going to be inviting guests. And how do I start? And I told her if I'm going to start, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to use you as experiment. So she agreed, you know. So I don't know, network. She reached out to two of our other friends and they agreed. And we had the first episode on Saturday, the 12th of July, 2025. So why Between the Lines? What is the vision behind the name Between the Lines? Well, my goal is to address adolescence and of course parenting. So to me, those were two lines. All right. And between adolescence and between parenting, there's a whole lot in between. You see it, Abby. There's a whole lot in between because parenting adolescence is not just, oh, you give birth, they are growing, you are feeding them, you are clothing them, you are paying their school fees. Like there is a whole lot in between. There's their physical health, there's their teaching them finances, teaching them emotional health or caring about their emotional health, mental health, social relationships, spiritual life, you know, academics, career. Like there's a whole lot in between. So it's like, okay. If one line is adolescence, another line is parenting, and there's a whole lot in between. That's between the lines. So that was actually, of course, with the help of ChatGPT. That was actually how I came up with the topic, with the title, sorry, Between the Lines. One line of adolescence, one line of parenting, and the whole lot between those lines. So yeah, between the lines. So like I was saying, I started with three teenagers, Praise Omitola, Praise Adekunle, and of course Neniola Ashoto. I wanted to start with teenagers because they are the crux. Is it crux or crux? They had the crux of the whole idea. Like it's for them, it's about them. So let me start with them. You know, so I had three teenagers, three female teenagers, the first episode, three male teenagers, the second episode, and they talked about the teenage experience. So, why is my podcast about teenagers? Why is it about adolescents? The stage of adolescence is a very, very vulnerable stage. And it's at that stage that you can either make mistakes that will scar you for life, or do things that would really take you ahead in life. It's very vulnerable, and people I feel parents don't understand how important that stage is. They are the nucleus of the society. I think my biology course is beginning to be useful. I think they're the nucleus or the nucleus of the society. They are very, very important. And if they can get it right at that stage, you see the stage after adolescence is small. If they can actually get it right at the stage of adolescence, the rest is very easy. So my goal is to target people at that stage, and of course parents who are parenting people at this stage, to let them know that it is not beans. It is not just about sending your child to school, feeding them, clothing them, or putting a roof over their head. It takes a whole lot to parent. It takes a whole lot to parents. And if you've been following the podcast, you realize that we've been bringing stakeholders of that adolescent stage. They've talked about, I don't think there's anybody, or I don't think there are two adult guests who have talked about the same topic. No, that's to tell you that there is a whole lot to cover at the stage of adolescence. We've brought a teacher who came to talk about the role of teachers in adolescent development. We've brought, I'm talking about the professionals here, the adults that we've brought. We've brought a lawyer. You see, a lawyer who told us about parental responsibilities from the legal perspective. The roles of teenagers, the roles of parents in parenting teenagers from the legal perspective, right? So you can say that you might think that maybe I'm paying, maybe I'm answering, maybe I'm clothing you, not knowing that there are other things that you're supposed to do or supposed to be aware of as a parent or as a guardian. We've finally I've brought in three counseling psychologists. I'm a counselor, so of course I have counselors around. The first one was a career counselor who talked about the roles of parents in choosing career. And that's a very serious topic. If you ask me, it's a very, very serious topic, because I once had a teenager who who wanted to study a course. I don't know if she's now studying that course, but she chose that particular course because her mommy said so. Her mommy wanted her to become a medical doctor, so she decided to study medicine. I don't know if she later went ahead with that course, but that was the last conversation we had, anyways. So I realized that, okay, in this age and time, parents are still thinking that, their children must study the course that they choose. So we brought in a career counselor, who told us that we should let the child choose. You know, one thing about letting the child choose just reminded me of something that as parents we don't want the child to make mistakes. We don't want them to make the mistake that we make. We want them to have a smooth journey. Let them make mistakes. Let them make mistakes. I keep saying that teenagers are not children, so you cannot hover around them. They are not adults, so you cannot leave them alone. The stage of adolescence is very, very dicey because you should not treat them as children, and you should not treat them as adults because they are not children, neither are they adults. So what should you do? When you want to make decisions that concern them, involve them. You don't entirely decide for them. And at the same time, you don't entirely leave everything to them. You meet in the middle, especially when it has to do with decisions that primarily concerns them. Involve them, like discuss it together and decide it together. You don't just make decisions and then call your child. Oh yeah, Bala, sit down. This is what we're going to do concerning her. This is what we have decided. Me and your daddy or me and your mommy. We have decided you will go to this school, you will study this course. And she's looking like, Asal, don't I have a say? They are growing. I say this a lot, that don't treat your teenagers like where they are coming from. Treat them like where they are going to. Don't treat them like where they are coming from because they're not going back there. Treat them like where they are going to. You won't be there with them forever. They will leave your house at one point or the other. So it's whatever foundation you have laid that they will build upon when they get into when they get out there into the society. And let me tell you, society is not smiling. Society is not smiling. If you have not done your part, taught them well, society will help you teach them very well. And unfortunately, they will not teach them the right thing. Okay. Yeah, so that is why my podcast is about adolescents. I believe that teenagers need to be heard, not just seen. They have a lot to say. Let's hear them. That is why, we air this podcast twice a month. The first Saturday or second Saturday, we would invite teenagers, two teenagers, one male, one female, while the other Saturday we invite a professional, because we believe that in as much as parents need to hear from professionals how to, what to do with their teenagers, they also need to hear from their teenagers. We believe that, or I believe that, teenagers need to be heard, not just seen. They have a lot to say, so let's listen to them. All right. Yeah, so that's that about why I started the podcast, how I came about the name Between the Lines, and why teenagers, the gap I'm trying to fill. So let's talk about the journey so far. We've been able to record 20 episodes. 20 episodes. This is a year after, and for somebody who struggles with consistency, for somebody who struggles to be consistent, I can say that, recording 20 episodes is a very great feat for me. For me, that's a lot, a good lot. Anyway, so we've recorded 20 episodes, of course, teenagers, professionals, adolescents, professionals, adolescents, professionals, adolescents, professionals. All right. And we've had, different kind of guests. We've had, like I told you, we've had a teacher, we've had a barrister, a lawyer, we've had 3 counseling And we've had two life coaches, and we've had an investment broker. Yes. Speaking of the investment broker, if you have not listened to that episode as a teenager or as a parent, I would recommend that you go listen to that episode, because another area that many parents fail at is to prepare their children financially. They don't talk about money to their children. They just give them, oh yeah, this is your food money, this is your break time money, that is all about money that they talk with their children. But there is a whole lot about money that we should talk with our adolescents, that we should discuss with our adolescents. So I would recommend that if you missed that episode, or even if you were present at that episode, you can always go back to it and rewatch it, because teenagers have time, adolescents have time in their hands for their investment to grow. Unlike we adults, like we don't have that time. We have to make money now. But if I have been investing since I was a teenager, let's say 10, 20 years ago, if I have been investing so come on now, I started investing 20 years ago. No matter the rate of inflation, I will still have something tangible by this time. So I encourage parents. No matter how old your child is, think about investing in their names. Think about investing for them. And if you're a teenager, think about investment for yourself. She mentioned that, our guest, Messi Awolola, she mentioned that even with 5,000 naira, 5,000 naira, you can invest. 5K, you can invest. So please look into it. Look into it. So, like I was saying, yeah, we've had a teacher, a barrister, three counseling psychologists, and an investment broker. You can see that there's a whole lot to discuss about the adolescent stage. There is a whole lot. Yeah, we've had the topic, the teenage experience, what am I becoming, understanding teenagers, friendship, trust, and finding your tribe, the future, exciting or scaring. I'm excited. I'm excited actually. So yeah, what are the lessons that I've learned? What are the lessons I've learned? Funnily, some of the topics apply to me too. I was hearing some things for the first time, especially during that teenagers' rights and parental responsibilities, a legal perspective. I was hearing a whole lot for the very first time, even as adolescent counselor, even as somebody who feels, oh, I know the stage of adolescence, I know what I need to know. I was hearing a whole lot for the very first time. So we never stop learning. Oh, we never stop learning. I think it's the moment you die that you stop learning. As long as you're alive, no matter your age, no matter your how high you are in the career ladder, we never stop learning. So I have actually learned a lot. Even this investment, the topic of investment, I learned a lot. I also learned that teenagers want to be heard. They have a lot to say. I'm trying to get the accurate number of teenagers or adolescents that we've had. Let me use this opportunity to say the difference between teenagers and adolescents. Sorry. Many times we use them interchangeably because we believe that they mean the same thing. A teenager is an adolescent. I mean, they're in the same stage and all of that. Okay. While that can be partially true, I just feel I should, say the difference. All right. A teenager is somebody in the teen age, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's all. If you are in the teen age, or if anybody is in the teen age, that is what makes them teenagers. 13, 14, all the ages that end with teen. That's what makes them a teenager. But an adolescent, is somebody who is in that puberty stage, or who is entering the puberty stage. Adolescence is a stage, transitioning stage between childhood and adulthood, and it's characterized, of course, by puberty. So anybody at the stage of puberty or beginning the stage of puberty is an adolescent. To put an age to adolescence, it starts from, well, according to the World Health Organizations, it starts from 10, because we have 10-year-olds, who are starting puberty. We have 10-year-olds who have been, for 10-year-old females who have started seeing their periods, who have started developing breast. They are 10-year-old, but they started puberty. It means that they're already at the stage of adolescence. They are adolescents, but they are not yet teenagers because they're not yet 13. But they're already at the adolescent stage. And it ends, and well, they say adolescence ends well into your early 20s, 2021, 2023, 24. So which means that you can even leave the teen age, but you are still an adolescent. So it is safe to say that every teenager is an adolescent, but not all adolescents are teenagers. You can be 10, 11, 12. You are an adolescent if you started the puberty, if you're already in puberty stage, but you are not yet a teenager. And you may have exceeded 19, maybe you're 20, but you're still an adolescent, because there's a part of the brain, I think I'm not talking about adolescence. There's a part of the brain, it is called the prefrontal cortex. It doesn't develop till, let's say you're 24. It doesn't develop till around 24. So the peg 24 to be the okay at age 24, when the prefrontal cortex has fully developed, you can say, okay, you have left the stage of adolescence. It is the last part of the brain to develop during the stage of adolescence. So yeah, I may use teenagers, I may use adolescent, but I prefer adolescence because it covers, it's wider. It covers broader ages as well, like that. Yeah. So teenagers, I was talking about things that I've learned. Teenagers want to be heard. They have a lot to say, but they're not talking to their parents. That's the thing. They want to talk. A lot is going on, but they're not talking to their parents. Let me use this avenue to talk to parents that the best time to build a relationship with your child is not when they become adolescents or teenagers. Some parents will say, well, she carried about it, but when he or she is grown, the hair will be able to rapport. You see, by the time he or she is grown, it's late. It's late. The best time to build or form a relationship with your child is when they're far from when they're babies. All right, because at the stage of adolescence, they tend to move closer to their peers than their family, than their parents. Yeah, that is when they begin to get closer to their friends. So if you have not built that relationship before adolescent stage, I don't know what to say. But if you have built that relationship, very solid foundation, when they become teenagers, of course, they will still move towards their peers. But because you have already laid a solid foundation, they will not drift entirely away from you because there's something binding them to you. All right. But if you have not, there is nothing binding them to you. They'll drift entirely, to their friend. That is when they crave for social gathering amongst their peers. That is when they begin to be self-aware, self-conscious. They begin to compare themselves to their peers. They want to feel among, they want to, be among, they don't want to feel left out. So they're always friend conscious. And if there's no relationship between the two, they will drift entirely away from it. But if there is a solid relationship, they will, in fact, what they discuss with their friends, they come and be gisting you, at home. So if you're a parent and you're listening to this, the best time to build a relationship with your child is when they're still babies, up until, adulthood. So yeah, like I was saying, teenagers want to be heard. They have a lot they want to say, and I also know that parents love their children. I know. I want to believe. Let me say, I know. I want to believe that parents love their children, but they just don't know how to show it. They just don't know how to connect with their children. I think many of us are suffering from generational trauma. We don't know how to express love to our children. Many parents have never said the word, I love you. Hey, that word is very heavy. I know it's very heavy to say to your child. I understand that many parents love their children, but they just don't know how to connect. Well, I am not going to teach you how, but I'm going to tell you that your teenagers just want you to listen to them. They want you to hear them out. They want you to be by their side. They want to be able to come home to talk to you. It's not going to be an easy thing, especially if it's not something that you've been doing before. Talk with a teenager, discuss, tell them you love them. It is not going to be easy if it is not something you're used to. But you know what? If there's a will, there's a way. If you are willing, definitely, definitely, definitely. Oh my God, there will be a way. All right, now the third lesson: every conversation matters. Every conversation matters. Some of the conversations that I had with teenagers, who am I becoming? Friendship, trust, and finding your tribe. We talked about friends, talked about the future, we've talked about life after secondary school, we've talked about a whole lot, and every conversation is or was important. They all mattered. So as parents, anything, your child, your teen can want to talk to you about anything, anything, they matter. If it is important to them, it is very important. It should be very important to you. If your child wants to tell you something, if it is important to them, it should be important to you. All right. Finally, there is so much hope for this generation. Well, in as much as there is hope for this generation, there is also work for this generation of parents. Because I was listening to one sex educate your child like a pro, and you see, some of the things that were hidden from our generation and the ones before our generation. I'm a millennial. So some of the things that were hidden from us and the previous generation, things that if we really need to get them, we have to go and look for. Like, really have to work to get it. In this generation, it's in plain sight too. They don't need to go, they don't need to go anywhere. All they need to do is sit in the comfort of their home, pick up their phone, and they're seeing everything that they're looking for. Which means that the work that the parents of the previous generation did is nothing compared to the work that this generation parents need to do. Because now, anywhere, everywhere, people are teaching our children. Everywhere you turn to, our children are being taught, whether consciously or unconsciously, whether directly or indirectly. Somebody, somewhere, something is teaching your children. So you cannot say, that's where my parents taught me, I was at home. Even your get inside child that you think does not go out, that child has a lot. See, information is at their fingertips. Information is at their fingertips. You cannot sleep. You cannot snooze. You snooze, you lose. Parents in this generation have a whole lot to do. That is if you want to parent intentionally. Anyways, all right. So yeah, those are some of the lessons. I have a whole lot, but of course I can't, say everything. These are some of the lessons that I have learned. Moving forward, moments that have stayed with me. Moments that have stayed with me. I'll have to read that from my book because I wrote it down. Anyways, for every episode, of course, there are key points that I write down, key points, and they always give me punchline. I learn every day. You know something, aside the fact that I'm inviting guests for parents and adolescents, even me, I am learning too. Like I said, it's also for me. All right, so I've learned a whole lot. So what are those key powerful statements? Let's see. There's one where somebody said, because you are behind, no, because you are resting. Yes, because you are resting doesn't mean you are not serious with your life. I think it was Alice Alfred that said that, one of my adolescent guests. She said, because you are taking a break or because you are resting, doesn't mean that you are not serious with your life. Oh. Take a break, oh. Take a rest. Oh. As somebody, she's a student too, but somebody who works as an adult, myself, that statement was talking to me. Rest, take a break. It's not that you're not serious with your life. And I remember I work with ChatGPT a lot. In fact, I think it is my personal assistant. So I asked ChatGPT a question, and the response it gave me was, like me, you're doing too much. Take a break. My sister said, you too do. Like me, you too do. Take a break. Take a break. So if you're listening, take a break. Because you are resting or because you're taking a break, it doesn't mean that you're not serious with your life. If you unalive yourself, life will go on. Life will go on. You know. So yeah. So what are the challenges? This one, if I start to talk, well, one of the challenges is finding guests, because I just don't want to invite anybody. I just don't want to do it because let's do it. If it would take me to miss a Saturday because I need to get a guest that will give me value, I would miss a Saturday. Of course, there are if I had followed through, I should have had 26 episodes. But I have had 20 episodes, which means that I missed some Saturdays. Of course, aside January, I used January to prepare for the year. So outside of January, that's 2 Saturdays, and they were left with 4. I've missed Saturdays because I wanted quality guests. So finding guests has been a challenge for me. But everybody who has come up here, every professional, of course, who has come up here to talk, I mean, I know that they will deliver. I know that they had value to give. Yeah, so well, it has been a challenge, but at the same time, I've been able to worthwhile guests. I've been able to get quality guests. Going live, especially network. I cannot talk enough about how network has been a challenge. Some days network will be so smooth that there will be no glitch from the very beginning to the very end of the podcast. There will be no glitch. And other days, I want to cry. I want to cry that, they send network to me. Network, they send you to me. Network. In fact, network is supposed to be my number one. I'm supposed to put network as top of the challenges list. No. It is a challenge for me. I'm still, finding a way around it, But hopefully, one day I will defeat network challenge in Jesus' name. Amen. Balancing work and podcasting. ChatGPT has said I am doing a lot. I am doing a lot. So balancing work and podcasting, it's a lot. Looking for topics, guests. I do the flyer myself. In case you don't know, I do the flyer myself. So balancing work, balancing every other thing that I'm doing, it's a challenge actually. But I know that as the podcast grows, the goal is that it grows, and the goal is that I will be co-hosting with somebody else who shares the same vision with me, and I'll have people who can help me handle, one or two things so that I can face what I need to face very well. So balancing work and podcasting has been a challenge too, actually. It is where. Well, the next one. Low views again. Low views at times. I think the highest view we've had is 95, and that was the second episode. Second episode, 95 views. Second episode, we've never had 100 views. So low views is a very, very great challenge, very big challenge. And I've noticed actually that people don't really watch what is in that sense, as it were, valuable. It's just entertainment, or make them laugh, or make them forget about, Nigeria's economy that they'll listen to. But they hardly listen to, things like this. But I know that even if it's one person, two people, three people, as long as they are getting value, the main goal is to give people value. The main goal is to make impact. The main goal is that people are getting value. So even if it's two views and those two people are getting value, mission accomplished. But then I would like to have a lot of views. I'm honest. I'd like to have a lot of views. But it is what it is. Then wondering if people were listening. Hey, so hey, people listen. Before I started, one thing I thought about was, will people listen? Will people tune in? Will people watch it? Will people, a lot of what if, what if, what if, what if. But here we are. Thank God I did not listen to the what ifs, what ifs. If I had listened, where would have been the 20 episodes? Where would they have been? Thank God I did not listen to the what ifs. Now we are here 20 episodes later. I'm moving forward. Still standing strong and moving forward. So, yeah, those are my challenges. Network, number one, network. Finding guests, balancing work and podcasting, low views. This is me encourage people to listen. Please tune in. We don't talk rubbish here. We give value here. Right. So I want to talk about my guests. I want to celebrate my guests. I've had 30. I wrote down their names. I've had 31 guests on my podcast show. 31 people. 31 people. Wow. So I know that one people. Wow. So I want to talk about the guests. They've made this 1 year journey very interesting. They've made it richer because if not for them, I won't be here. I want to appreciate them actually. I want to appreciate them for giving their time. There are other things that they could have done, but they give their time. So to honor them, I'm going to mention their names one after the other, from the very first guest to the 31st guest. Yeah. I want you to honor them. So yeah. Praise Omitola, Neniola Asoto, and Praise Adekunle. Emmanuel Omoniyi, Mololuwa Olaiwe George, Gideon Orimoloye, Wale Balogun, Ìbùkún Ige, Ọpẹ́yẹmí Olúwaṣẹ́gun, Barrister Títílọpẹ́ Àlàbí, Emmanuel Edache, Ṣewolú Sọ̀rọ̀, Japhet Ofogo, Angela Oluwa Ọ̀nàbànjọ, Peter Samson Aka Ome, Victor Agbaje, Omotola Ajayi, Samuel Opeyemi Oladigbo, Samondi, Comfort Jokodola, Olamide Daramola, Clacket, Daniel Uka, Adegbite Messi, Oluwaseun Ara Babayode, my lovely sister. Jayola God's Favor, Mercy Awolola, Emmanuel Oyefeso, Alice Alfred, Dr. Israel Agbecha, Adeoye Oluwagbenga, and Mudashiru Khalidat. You all made this podcast very rich. Thank you. If not for you, there's not going to be between the lines. Is it me don't talk about law? What do I know about law? Or about investment? What do I know about investment? Or about a life, being a life coach? What do I know? So thank you very, very much. And then, as I have celebrated my guests, I also want to celebrate my audience. To everybody who has at some point or the other listened, even if you just tuned in and listened for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, this is me saying thank you. I celebrate you. To every teenager who has listened, to every parent who listened, every teacher, counselor, everyone, every parent, everyone who watched, who commented, who shared, and who encouraged me. Thank you. I'm here because of you. I'm standing here. I don't say I'm very sure, but I believe that if I had, done the first 3 episodes and I'm seeing zero views, zero views, zero views, zero views, I would have been discouraged. Yeah. So even if I'm seeing 5 views, at least people are watching. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Don't leave your girl. Let's continue doing this together. So yeah, I celebrate my audience. I celebrate you, celebrate you, celebrate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are standing here because of you. Thank you so much. So what's next? We are moving into our second here. What's next? Of course, we're going to talk about more live conversations. We're going to invite stakeholders of the adolescent development to talk about adolescents and teenagers. Of course, also be having more teenage guests, to talk about their views, because parenting is parenting is not a single relationship. It's between two people. You are called a parent because there's somebody who made you a parent. So parenting is one-sided relationship. All right. So while we are speaking for parents or to parent, we also, the other side of the relationship, teenagers, like I said, more professionals. We're going to invite more experts to talk about their field as it relates to adolescents. I'm going to have a fitness expert. Yes, I'm gonna have a physical health expert. We're gonna have professionals talk about the stage of adolescence, and of course stakeholders at the adolescent stage. I'm also going to have parent focused episodes that talk to parents directly. Episodes episodes that talk to parents. I'm gonna have that. So I'm gonna have bigger conversations basically. You know, I'm just happy. I'm just happy. I'm happy. One of the reason I'm happy is because I'm someone who struggles with consistency. Oh, I can start something and then stop. But I've been able to do this for a year. That is what I'm very grateful for. That is what is actually making me excited. I was consistent for a year. Consistent for a year. I need to pour myself a glass of wine. So the final reflection. I'm coming to an end. I'm about to round up my this episode. So the final reflection, looking back, thinking about all the episodes, thinking about all the guests who had come, I realized that every teenager has a voice worth listening to. Every teenager has a voice worth listening to. Every teenager has a story worth sharing. Even adults, every adult has a story worth sharing. And sometimes all it takes is one conversation to change a life. Sometimes all it takes is one sentence. That person needs to hear just one sentence and the person's life is changed for good. That is why we will keep showing up despite the views. We will keep showing up despite the views because I really don't know who is listening. I really don't know who it is talking to. I really don't know who needs to hear it. So giving up now or stopping now is not even an option. All it takes is one conversation to change a life. And because of that, I will keep showing up. Oh, for the love of teenagers. I love teenagers. I love teenagers. For the love of teenagers, I will keep showing up. Oh, I will keep showing up. So yeah, that's my final reflection. I will keep showing up. If I've not said anything today, but this statement, I will keep showing up, is enough for me because I don't know who is listening. I don't know who is getting to. Somebody somewhere might just listen to a sentence, just take out something, and the person's life is changed forever. That's a good cause. And that's why I'm here. And that's how I keep showing up. So to all my teenagers, I love all of you. So the parents, I love all of you. And to the professionals, to the experts, I love all of you. So here, that's that about looking back, moving forward, reflections. Yeah, so as I round up, let me give a summary of what I have talked about. I've talked about why I started the podcast and why I called it Between the Lines. And of course, why is it addressing the stage of adolescence? I've talked about that. If you are just joining, you can watch the replay. Go back and watch the replay. So I've also talked about the journey so far, how many episodes I've recorded, my guest, of course, some of the things that we've covered, the topics that we've covered. I talked about the lessons that I have learned and moments that stayed with me, especially that statement. That statement lives rent free in my head. Because you are resting does not mean you're not serious with your life. Everybody's running a different race. Let me say this. We are running different races, actually. You are not on my lane. I'm not on your lane. So I shouldn't be looking at you. You shouldn't be looking at me. It's easy to say. It's actually very easy to say. But at times, we look at people who are the same age with us. We went to the same school. We are on the same level, but they don't go. They don't become pastors. And I'm like, what am I doing in my life? I laughed because what am I doing with my life is one of the statements that bettered this podcast. If Praise is listening, she would remember last year, June, when we're talking about starting a podcast, I just started, I was like, what am I doing with my life? I want to make impact. That was one of the sentences that bettered this podcast. So it is good to challenge yourself, but it's not good to compare yourself because you're running different races, You're running different races. So in as much as you are seeing your friends ahead of you, they've gone so far, you are still on the level where you are. As long as you know that you are not being lazy, as long as you know that you are doing your best, take it easy on yourself. Take it easy on yourself. You're running different races. Yeah, so that's a moment that stayed with me. And I've shared my challenges. It's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah, I celebrated my guests, and I want to celebrate my guests again. Thank you. The 31 of you. Wow, thank you. And of course, my audience. I love you all so much, so much, so much. So the next episode is coming up in 2 Saturdays from now. Guess what we're talking about? Take a very wide guess. You cannot guess. Yeah. So, as usual, with this, we have come to the end of today's episode. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you to everyone who tuned in live, and joined me in this journey. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next episode. Like I said, it's coming up in 2 Saturdays from now. Tell your friend about my podcast. Tell your parents, tell adolescents, tell parents to show come, and watch my podcast. For the previous episode, you can always go back to watch them. I recommend every episode. If you want to know the mind of teenagers, I recommend episode where the teenagers were guests. If you want to know how to help your teenager, I recommend the episodes where, professionals were guests. Either way, you need all the episodes, either way. So please go back. I recommend all the episodes, 20 of them. Go back and watch them, and you will learn a thing or two, definitely, because I did not just pick guests for picking sake. I was very, 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 very considerate of value before, picking my professionals. So thank you once again. I will be ending the live stream now. It has been so nice doing this 1 year with all of you. Every single one of you. I am dedicating this episode to you. Yes, you. I'm dedicating the episodes to you. Thank you. So This is me signing out. I remain your humble host, Folakemi Abiodun. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you on the 25th of July, 2026. Bye.